Welcome to Paper Cup Crafts. Today we're going to be making a pop-up and twist panel card. This is how it opens. This is like a template that I use to kind of remind myself of what it's supposed to look like. And this is my little technique book that I write everything in. So this project, you'll need 2 regular size pieces of cardstock. They're 11 by 8.5. You'll need 2 of them. And then we are going to cut the first one in half the long ways so that you have an 11 by 4 1/4. The other half of the card, you're going to cut it down to 2 3/4 by 11. So you will have 3 strips. One will just be an extra strip you set to the side. Then you're going to use the larger of the 2, and this is the outside of the card. So you're just going to fold this in half, and we'll set it aside. And we'll use it again once we have finished the rest of the pop-up part of the card. The second strip, you're going to score this at 2 3/4, 5 1/2, and 8 1/4. This is going to be your mechanism for the pop-up. This creates like an M accordion shape to it. The second piece is the inside piece, and it is going to be scored at 4 1/4, 5 1/2, and 6 3/4. You're going to mark these and then turn your card onto the side and mark it at 2 1/8, 4 1/4, and 6 3/8. We're going to draw these lines so that we can see where we need to cut. Here we're just adding a little curve to this section. It is not necessary, but it does add a little bit of a flow to the card. I end up not actually cutting it out. So now we're going to take the scissors. We're just going to cut the 4 corners off following the outside lines so that these 4 corners are completely removed. And again, you can follow a curvature or you can just do a straight cut. It just depends on what kind of look you're wanting to give your card. Now we're going to want to mark each of the long sides of these cutout pieces at 3 1/4 down from the top and bottom edges. These marks we're going to connect with an X through at the diagonal for each one, and this is going to give us a direction on which to fold our card to get the mechanism for the pop-up. It's not necessary to erase all your pencil marks, but I like to just to make it a little more neat. Now you're going to use your scoreboard and you're going to line up your side center mark and give that a crease, a score, right through. And then we're going to also turn this onto the diagonal to get those score marks in there to make the fold easier. You can use a straight edge to make these folds as well, but I find using the scoreboard to get everything lined up works. Next, you want to go ahead and crease these. So you're going to crease each one on their diagonal and on the cross. And this is going to create the effect of the pop-up. So you notice how you have 2 triangles facing each other. these two are going to fold in half and into the center of the card. So both of your arrows have folded in half along that center crease, and then the crisscross is creating that fold that brings those two arms on either side into the center of your folded card. You may use, like I am here, using my stylus to get that center just folded right. The cardstock is thick, so it is going to create quite a thick card. But if you get it all lined up nicely, it will fold down nice and flat and open just fine. Now to attach the inside piece that looks like an M, you're going to want that M to be facing you when you're holding it. And this is how you're going to align it in the front of the card. I'm going to fold that M up and then turn it just to your right and then place it in your card, and this is how it looks when it's opening and closing. So here's your M, close it, turn it to your right, and this right side of the back of it will go onto the right arm, on the top of the right arm. You will want to use a strong adhesive since this is your main mechanism, and you're going to attach this just so that the M piece, your accordion piece, lines up center in the card and close about a 1/4 inch from the bottom. Next, you're going to want to attach the left side, but this arm is going to be on the top of the left side. You only want to put your adhesive just on that arm that's going to attach to that area. You don't want it overhanging or your card will stick shut. A little help note would be to mark where you want your adhesive. So lining up all your card pieces and mechanism pieces and just making a small little dot or a mark just so you know where exactly that adhesive is supposed to go. Just a little blooper note here. I did actually line this particular card up wrong. I put the center accordion fold too high. It was lining up the bottom to the bottom of the arms, and it turned out that that was not going to open properly. So you do want to make sure this is low. It does not need to line up to the arm to the bottom of your mechanism. It does need to line up to that 1/4 inch or even an 1/8 inch from the bottom of the card when it is folded, so that when you close it and you have everything attached together, the mechanism opens in that twist pop. Now we're going to bring in our front cover piece that we folded earlier, and we're going to stick our mechanism, our inside pop-up piece, inside. Now this is thick and it is fat, so you don't want to shove it right up into that center crease, because when it folds over it will not fold evenly on the bottom. So you want to make sure that when you put it in, you put it in a little bit low from that center score mark, so when you fold it over you have an even fold on the front and back of your card. So I went ahead and I finished this card. So all I did was I used this as a retired stamp set and I stamped it around on the front. I made panels that fit into each of the accordion slots and stamped them with an image. This is a band I made. I just measured it all the way around so that it slipped easily on and off of the card. It's not necessary, but it does add a nice little thing to it. So that's the finished card. Hope you enjoyed that. Any questions, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Happy stamping!